Good morning, guys. Bo here, YankiRides. And today I'm going to what passes for a mountain in this area. I've lived here 9 years. It's been in my backyard, and I'm just now checking it out. So today we're going to go see Arabia Mountain. I'm sure anybody that's local will know that name, but this is the first time I'm going to be checking it out. So we'll get into it today. My wife used to, like, when she would take dogs up there. She trains dogs for a living. They would take dogs up there because it wasn't as packed as, say, like Stone Mountain or anything like that. But apparently it's become quite popular. I've never really looked into it until like a week or two ago. And the thing that surprised me is it's sitting on like 40,000 acres of land. We'll talk about that when we get there. On the way there, I'm not taking any highways just because I want a nice, chill, relaxing ride. So on the way, I'm going to talk about what I did this weekend. Me and the wife celebrated 9 years. Her wedding anniversary was last week, in the middle of the week. Her schedule was pretty tight, so we ended up just waiting until Sunday. We went to a Latin and Hispanic Heritage Festival around Dunwoody. It was pretty cool. They had a lot of like traditional dance and singing and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. It was fun, nice little outing. But anyway, we're going to Arabia Mountain, so we got about, I don't know, 15 minutes until we're there. So we'll catch up when we're at the mountain.
Alright guys, you're on the little mic today. We are at Arabia Mountain. Specifically right now we're at the Davidson Arabia Mountain National or Nature Preserve. Again, I ended up in a nature preserve. They have a really cool little animal rescue area too. I just checked that out. Seems like all the animals are either not there or they're asleep, but it was pretty cool. We're gonna check out the trail, see how far it takes us. Now, Arabia Mountain is part of, which I didn't know was a thing, a national heritage area, and 20 minutes from the city. Sits on 40,000 acres of land that is being basically kept so that they can maintain the history and keep the land from being sent off or sold or anything like that. It's a weird landscape. It's very much like a Stone Mountain. It's just a big granite rock, not really a mountain. But we're gonna go a little bit and then we'll check back in and we'll talk about it. It's pretty cool. Like I mentioned, this place sits on like 40,000 acres. It's one of 62 national heritage areas in the United States. This sat in the middle of two native kind of areas. One for the Creek Muskogee. I don't know which one is like the American version. If you know, down below, do they prefer Creek or Muskogee, or both of those kind of meh? I don't really know. So this area sat in between them, basically acted as a divider and a trade route until it was ceded by the Creek and then given away to Georgians in the Georgia Land Lottery. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I have mixed feelings about places like this because they're cool and they're beautiful, but they also have kind of a past. And that past usually involves taking land away from people who were here first and giving it away to the people who came afterwards. I felt the same way in South Dakota. I'm not as familiar as with the kind of native history down south than I am up north. Mostly because I'm just fascinated with the landscape up north, so I learned a little bit more about it. But I've had to, as an adult, kind of separate the beauty and wonder of the land that I live in, and it's kind of, I mean, I'm not going to put a spin on it, it's a horrible history. And this is part of it. The Georgia Land Lottery was basically, they take land from Native Americans and then basically give it away in a drawing to legal citizens, which at that time just meant white men. It's not easy to separate the history from the current beauty of things, but I try to, as I've gotten older, try to both appreciate and respect the history of places like this so that I can enjoy them, but also, you know, be aware of, it's a weird landscape. You can tell it shares some similarities with Stone Mountain. If you've never seen Stone Mountain, it's not really a mountain, but one giant boulder. And this is kind of get that same feel. I'll get some cool shots so you guys can see it, but I'm gonna walk around a little and follow these cairns that they have placed all over, and then see what we got. Prepare to sweat. Let's go. Alright, so we're heading up now. Now they have these cairns, little stacks of rock, kind of guiding you through. And you guys can see, like, they've had this, it's well worn from people walking on it, comparatively. You can kind of see it. It's a lot steeper than I thought. Again, it's not very large. I think at its highest, it's just under 1,000 feet. So again, mountain is a loose term, but it is part of a larger mountain formation, I believe. This and Stone Mountain, kind of, from what I understand, are all part of the same little bit of mountain. This spot is steep, and I'm wearing my Vans, so not the best shoes to go climbing up hills. Alright, we're officially reaching the summit of Arabian Mountain. Yeah. It's not much, but it is it's one of the things I like most about doing stuff like this, albeit on a smaller scale. When you go to places like this, like, I can hear the road, the highway. I can't see it. There's a few cars peeking through on the access road, but like, for the most part, it's very few little peekaboos of civilization and people, and it kind of reminds you you're pretty much just a speck on this planet. Well, they got a whole ass ecosystem up here, just on the granite. They were saying that these plants, a lot of these plants are endangered. So they have people, you know, signs everywhere saying don't step on it. It's because, you know, we have very fragile ecosystems up here because it is just rock. But pretty cool, nice little hike. I see another little area down there that we might check out depending on how I'm feeling. These shoes are not made for walking. But this is it's really nice. Like I said, it's one of those things where you get up here and you look around and you're like, 5 minutes ago I was in a city with stoplights and traffic and McDonald's, and now it's just on top of a very large hill looking at the tops of trees. Pretty cool. Let's take a walk down there. Okay, he's playing some smooth jazz out of his backpack. Okay, yeah, let's go see if how far away this hill is. I just got done walking about another quarter mile down that way. The trail's not hard at all. You can walk it. I'm just not wearing appropriate shoes for that kind of stuff today. Though I did get pretty far down there. You can see now I'm back here. It's more of the same. There's nothing super fascinating. Although it is nice to kind of, like I said earlier, get away from all the noise. I'm still amazed. I can just hear the interstate from here. But mostly it's just the quietness of this area, which is why I'm not talking loudly. I'm trying to not disturb people who are out here, people hiking and walking their dogs, and they're with their families and whatnot. But it's a good little spot if you want to get away or if you're into hiking. I'm not. Though I am getting a lot more steps in doing these videos. Speaking of these videos, like I said, I'm trying to be as consistent as I possibly can. Big shout out to my wife for allowing me to try to get this thing off and running and get some legs, as it were. Without her, I'd be back at the corporate grind for sure. So big shout out to her in the comments. I appreciate you guys walking with me. If you want to check out Arabia Mountain and you're in the area, I'll leave links in the description so that you can check it out. There's also that Atlanta Wildlife and Rescue over there. Don't know if they're open to the public, but I'll leave a link to their stuff too. That's pretty cool. Appreciate you guys coming around with me, and we'll catch you on the next video. You guys be safe out there.